All right, so with Mission Impossible Fallout coming out here in 2 freaking days, I'm trying to knock these out. So I've watched two. I was supposed to get more done today. I was going to knock out like 4 of them. But I had to help out a friend for like 3 hours, and then I came home and my brother introduced me to Rocket League. And we've been playing that for like 3 straight hours. It's so fucking addicting. Anyone playing Rocket League? It's on Game Pass right now for Xbox. Jesus Christ. We've gotten very good very quickly, like usual. Let's talk about the first Mission Impossible right here. Maybe I can knock out the third one tonight. We'll see how fast this goes. So this was directed by Brian De Palma. And I know a lot of people are down on Tom Cruise. Like they always have been. Which is kind of funny to me because his career is always flourishing. And almost everyone I ever talked to is like, I hate Tom Cruise. He's a fucking lunatic. He's this and that. But his movies always crush at the box office. I don't understand that. I like Tom Cruise. I'm fine with him. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm that person who disconnects. Unless he's, like, killing people, fucking kids, whatever. Like, that's where I'm just like, I don't care what they're doing in their personal life. Like, he's a Scientologist, and he's crazy, and he's not. He's a good actor. He makes great movies. The only movie that I've ever seen that, and I've seen every Tom Cruise movie, except for Far and Away, I think. The only movie I did not like, and it was very surprising to me because he's just been Mr. Consistency for me, is The Mummy. I went into that like, I'm the target audience here. I like Tom Cruise. It was, whoa, that one was bad. I don't know what the hell was happening there. Like, that was weird. So anyways, I'm not a Tom Cruise hater. I know a lot of people are, but as I said, I mean, here we are in the 6th fucking Mission Impossible movie, and it's tracking very well. So as much as people seem to dislike him, they keep going to his movies. So anyways, so we got a lot of other familiar faces here. We got Jon Voight. We've got Emilio Estevez. We've got Ving Rhames. We've got Jean Reno, Leon the Professional himself, one of the best movies ever made. This is pretty much Tom Cruise's James Bond. I mean, he couldn't be cast as James Bond, more than likely, because he was either too big, like, of a star, not height-wise. Obviously, everyone knows he's a pretty short guy. Although, that's what I think makes him such an incredible actor as well, is not only does he bring such a presence to the screen, is that I never really question his height, his intensity, is any of that kind of stuff that, like, a smaller guy may bring to the screen. He has a huge presence to him, so it doesn't really make him seem small ever to me. I never watch a Tom Cruise movie and think, like, unless I'm in my head being like, I know he's short, but in movies, and yes, they cast smaller actors and whatever, but I don't know, he sells it so well that it never throws me off for a second. So yeah, this is his Bond, and it really works, because I think that this series has had its highs and its lows, not lows, but like, you know, it's over and all. But right now it's in a peak, because I haven't seen Fallout yet, but I've heard nothing but great. And those 2 trailers that I saw, even though I've seen them way too many times already now, they play them before every fucking movie, are incredible. Incredible. Like, I almost am positive that Fallout's going to be the best Mission Impossible movie. I would be surprised otherwise. So let's get into this film itself. Now, we get an impossible mission right here in the opening because they all failed. They do not succeed on this mission, so I guess this one really was an impossible mission. His whole team gets killed and betrayed. Freaking Emilio Estevez gets shot right up into this elevator with spikes that come down. Man, what an elaborate death. I'm guessing that was a security system that was in place in that place. It's not like somebody rigged it to kill him like that. I'm guessing that's just like, you know, that's something they already had pre-installed in that building, and he tripped it, and boom. If they mentioned that those are in there, I did not hear it, but it's possible. And so so Ethan goes off, and he sees everyone that he knows is dead, and he goes off and he meets up with these guys, his own people, which he's just been getting screwed by his own people from the beginning of this series, kind of like a Jack Bauer in 24. It's just like, how many times do these people have to turn on you? And in this new trailer, he says, we need to rethink that or whatever. Like, I get it, man. His own people suck. But Where Brian De Palma really succeeds well in this movie is he uses these really uncomfortable, weird angles to heighten tension in moments when, like that scene at the dinner table or whatever in that fancy restaurant, and they're all like these weird, like angled up shots on their faces. Great stuff. Really heightens that tension between them. Even though if they would have just shot them direct on, it wouldn't have been as weird, like it wouldn't have been as intense as it was. So it was a great decision. Him shooting or not shooting, but using the bubble gum and throwing it, how it like has such an adhesion to it. Like it has, I don't know, when he mushes it together, you think you'd have to have some kind of wetness for it to stick. Who cares? But it sticks and it blows up and he runs out of the place. It's a really cool action sequence, and it's very, very like iconic for me, for my childhood, just remembering this movie. But there's one even more iconic. You'll know what it is, but I'll wait for it for a minute. Poor fish. Poor fish. You see them all flood out into the freaking street. Then he goes upstairs and he grabs a light bulb and he takes it and he crunches it in his jacket and he lays it all over the ground in the hallway for the room to hear people coming. Great stuff. Love stuff like that. And then he just like takes the other light bulb out just so that there's a cover of darkness as well. Little touches. So good. Then he meets up with Max, who's played by Vanessa Redgrave, and I think she's just wonderful in this. I think her performance, while short, is, I don't know, extremely memorable for me. She just has such a charm to her. Like the way she says things, she's just very like playful and flirty and dangerous, and she emits so much in such a short amount of time. So I thought she did great. And music in this movie is excellent. They really just kind of ramped up that Mission Impossible theme song from the original show. That is from the original show, right? Yeah. And this is just kind of revamped here. And then we get to the most iconic scene, and I would argue would be in the top like 5 most iconic scenes in like action for sure, but like top 10, like it was so iconic. Him coming down that suspension wire and just like coming in and then falling and just being like 1 inch away from the ground and trying to, I don't know, man. I can't think of many more scenes that are more iconic than that. Yes, I'm that hot. Jesus Christ, it's like almost 1 a.m. and it's still this hot in here. Jesus. But there's a part in here. For one, I'm curious. I'm surprised that the computer still works when the room's shut down. You would think that the computer would go into this rest mode, and that if someone tried to access it while the room was in lockdown, that the alarm would go off. Like, you think that would be such an easy thing to put in. Like, hey, if anyone tries to touch the computer, that would be the most important system fucking security thing in there. Like, who cares about anything else? Like, make it so the computer's touched while this thing's in lockdown. It sets off the alarm. I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Wouldn't have worked for the film, I guess. But there is a scene where he's waiting for the thing to load, and earlier he flips around and he he pushes his feet down. He can actually stand on the table without affecting the floor. And he's hanging there and he's waiting for this thing to download for like a minute. And Jean Reno is holding him and like struggling. He could have just like put the thing in. He could have done it all standing there, to be completely honest. But let's just say he has to go back to type and whatever. And then he could have like flipped back over and just stood up there until it was done downloading, then grabbed it. And that would have given him a full like 30 seconds to a minute to rest. I mean, he dropped him, but fuck, Ethan, that's kind of your fault, man. You should have been thinking about the guy that's sitting up there and he's holding you. You don't even know this guy really. So I don't know. For me, I was just like, Ethan, what are you doing? And then the knife falls, which is, of course, is what tips him off that was the knife that killed his partners. And then I really like the sleight of hand that Tom Cruise uses, because he's tricking him that he actually has the disc when Renault actually has the real disc. And clearly, Tom Cruise learned those magic tricks, which is really cool stuff. That sleight of hand stuff, I think that's always so fascinating because I have no idea how it's done. And I don't know, it always gets me. I think it's pretty damn cool. And let's see. And then we find out John Voight's alive, which kind of like takes Ethan aback, and he's like, what the fuck? And then he kind of like figures it out really quick, but he doesn't like figure out that it's a betrayal on him. It's like a double, triple cross kind of thing going on. And then they get on the bullet train, which is the final sequence of the movie. And I mean, burning through this movie as fast as I am right here, you can tell how like simple the plot is, I guess. Watching this movie, it's so small. It's so like, it's such a tiny movie compared to like Fallout that's coming out, or even the last couple. Like, it's so small. But yeah, so they get on this bullet train, and then he figures out that he's actually the bad guy and whatever. And Voight comes out, and he has Ethan dead to rights. And then instead of shooting the only guy on the train that could beat the shit out of him, kill him, whatever, is he's like the fucking James Bond on the train, as I said. Like, he then turns the gun on the girl and shoots her first, giving Ethan enough time to come in and grab him and take him down. Like, shoot him, then the girl. Of course, this is typical action shit, and they always do it so that the hero can save the day, but it's so dumb. It's like, when you have the only guy that can stop you right in front of your gun, shoot, and then worry about everything else. What's that girl gonna do? I'm not saying that girls can't be, don't fucking be stupid. But I'm just like, Ethan is clearly the champion. Like, he's clearly the freaking, you know, the most skilled professional. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. So many action movies, you just kind of have to roll your eyes and be like, okay, sure. So then he follows Voight out onto the bullet train, and the shit's moving so fast. He's got no gear, which is impossible, but who cares? It's Mission Impossible, right? It's fucking built into the title. So every time you're questioning logic, it's called Mission Impossible, bitch. Just kidding. So aggressive. That's what the heat does to me, man. Whew. Fuck. But yeah, I mean, you want to talk about impossible. There's a reason that people wear sunglasses when they're on fucking motorcycles, because his eyes would be trashed on that train. There's no way he could see anything. Then Renault he hooks him on, and he's like, ah, and he yells and he flips over the side. There's so much shit that happens in this moment that is unbelievable to the nth degree. Suspension of full disbelief is to be... it's the price of admission, but it's fine. So he hooks him, and of course he pulls the helicopter in there, which would be impossible to fly like that. Who cares? And he's going at the same speed as a fucking bullet train. Sure, why not? And then Renault is just like totally totally fine flying it in there, and then he jumps to the helicopter with Voight. Sticks the gum on, then, you know, it blows him up. But I love that Renault tries to like cut his head off first, and then the propellers hit the top. Like, he didn't think like maybe it hit it, but he does hit it. And then boom, blows up, which pushes Ethan forward onto the train. And then the train comes to a stop. I don't know why. I guess the guy stopped it for some reason. I feel like they could have just kept going, but they didn't. And they come forward, and the propeller blade comes like, and he's like, really pretty cool ending here. But as I said, it's a very, very small film, but a great one. Like, it's just a very, very iconic film of the 90s. And I really enjoyed rewatching it. But I was expecting it to be much more grand, and it isn't. So, but I liked it. I liked rewatching it. So, all right, let's move on to the next one.